Hi there. So we have to graph a series of functions given coordinate points, first derivative values, and second derivative values. So let's go over some terminology first. So f prime, the first derivative, if f of x is increasing, then f prime of x is positive. If f of x is decreasing, f prime of x is negative. If f double prime of x is positive, f of x is concave up, right? So concave up means it's going to be a U shape, or some people say a smile. If f double prime of x is negative, then f of x is going to be concave down, right? So an upside down U, or it could be considered a frown. So let's look at the first case. So f of 3 is 4, f prime of 3 is 0, and it's concave down for all of x. Okay, so gonna draw this way, construct a line this way. Okay, we use a different color here. So f of 3 is 4, right? So 3 is x, 4 is y. So this value is going to be 3, and I'll make this a 4. Right, so I'm going to put a coordinate point right here at 3 comma 4. Now they also said that f prime of 3 is 0. So since it's 0, it's neither increasing nor decreasing, right? So I'm going to draw a slight horizontal line as such. Then now they did say that it's concave down for all of x, right? All right, so we got x and y. So if it's concave down, then it's going to be a frown for the entire thing. So the general sketch of this one is going to be an upside down U. Right, remember, if it's negative, it's concave down. So it's a frown. What about the second one, right? So we have f of negative 1 is 0, f prime of x is negative when x is less than negative 1. F prime of negative 1 is 0, and f prime of x is greater than 0 for x is greater than negative 1. Okay, we have a mouthful here, so let's just graph it and connect the dots. I'll make this black. I'll go back to green. All right, so we got x and y. So negative 1 comma 0 is a point. So I'm going to go here to negative 1, right? So we're on the x-axis. So I'm going to put a point here. So f prime of x, right? So the first derivative, so this deals with it increasing or decreasing. It's less than 0. So it's going to decrease when x is less than negative 1, right? So it's going to decrease. And we also know that f prime of negative 1 is 0. So I'm going to draw a line here. So if I'm decreasing, the question is, am I going to decrease like this, or am I going to decrease concave down? Well, this is a horizontal line. If I go this way, then the slope will not be zero. So the only way to have what's called a horizontal tangent is to go concave up with it. So I'm gonna decrease as such. This should be more of a curve, not a line. And f prime of -1 is 0. So f prime of x is positive, right? So now we're going to be concave up when x is greater than -1, right? So you're going to have a parabola. All right, let's go to number 3. F of 1 is 2, and f prime of x is greater than 0 when x is less than 1. F prime of 1 is 0. And we have f prime of x is greater than 0 for x is greater than 1. Okay. So I'm going to draw a line. Two lines actually. Back to green. So we got x and y. All right, so we got 1, comma 2. It's not drawn to scale perfectly, but it's just a rough sketch of it. So we're increasing when x is less than 1. All right, so we're going to increase. Now the question is, are we going to increase like this, or are we going to increase like this? Well, we know that f prime of 1 is 0, right? So if I increase this way, right, the slope is not going to run and hit 0. So we have to increase in a concave down fashion. Draw an arrow here because it's continuous. And we know that f prime of x is greater than 0 when x is greater than 1. So it's going to increase. So it has to increase concave up. It can't increase concave down because we already passed the 0 slope. So that'd be the sketch for number 3. Let's look at number 4. So again, I'm going to draw my axes. Let's stick with green. So we got x, and we have y. All right, so we have 2 coordinate points on the graph, -2, -1. All right, so -2, -1. So we'll put a point here. Then we have 2, 5. Put a point here. So f prime of -2 is 0. Okay. So here's -2. I'm going to draw a black line through this. And f prime of +2 is also 0. So I'm going to draw a small black horizontal line through this. So it's concave up, right? The second derivative is greater than 0 when x is less than 0. So going left of the y-axis, right? It's gonna be a smile. Oh, go back to green. And they also said that, all right, I'm getting a little lost. F double prime of 0 is 0, right? So this is going to be an inflection point. Somewhere along the y-axis is going to be an inflection point. So an inflection point is when it changes from concave up to concave down, or concave down to concave up, right? So you have a smile. So like here, I put it at the origin, but it could be at any arbitrary point on the y-axis. So then after this point, it's gonna go concave down, right? F double prime of x is less than 0 when x is greater than 0. So the general sketch of the graph is gonna look like this. This actually might be going this way, but they didn't tell us. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, construct the axes. Okay, so you have 0, 5. So I'll draw a point here. And make that a little neater for you. Two, 1. And 4, -1. All right, so here is 4. And we got -1. Okay, let's see what we have. F prime of 0 is 0. All right, so I can draw a line straight through here as such. F prime of 4 is 0. So we're concave down when x is less than 2. All right, so it's going to be a frown. It's going to be an upside down U, just like that. All right, we got F double prime of 2 is 0. So this is going to be an inflection point. Right now we got F double prime of x is greater than 0 when x is greater than 2. Right, so it's going to be a smile. It's going to be a U shape. So it's going to come down as such. So again, you can make it continuous if you want. So this probably swoops back down or it goes back up, or it could stop here. Same thing with this one, that could come back down this way, or it can shoot back up. All right, last but not least, number 6. We're going to construct the axes. Got X and Y. All right, so this time, according to this, there's nothing to the left of the y-axis, right? Because it's only defined when x is 0 or positive. But they did give us the origin, so I'm going to put a point here. And we know that 5, 6 is also a point. All right, so we got 5, 6. Put a point here. So we're increasing, right, when x is greater than 0. And when we're less than 5, so pretty much this region, right, where my cursor is moving, we're going to be concave down. So increasing that concave down is going to look like this. Oops, let me make that a little neater. So f double prime of 5 is 0, right? So this is an inflection point. F double prime of x is greater than 0, so it's going to be concave up when we're greater than 5. So it's going to shoot up as such. All right, so we're only going to put arrowheads here and not here because it's, remember, it's not defined on this side. All right, that was a mouthful. I hope this helps. If anything is unclear, put it in the comments or feel free to message me or however you feel comfortable. Have a good one.